Good afternoon, everybody. It's January 24, 2025, and it is now confirmed in writing, an article on the dailymail.com, that the people that spy on us, that surveil us and stuff, are actively being recruited because they're sociopaths. I've been saying it all along. Target individuals, crimes against humanity by subhuman psychopaths. Okay, psychopaths, sociopaths, personality disordered addicts, all of the above. And anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I'll read you an article, and thank you, subscriber, who sent it to me. Very interesting, and of course I'm obviously interested in this stuff. So this is an article published January 22nd. By Stacy Liberatore for thedailymail.com. CIA operative reveals mental disorder agency actively seeks to hire because it makes for better spies. Yes. A former CIA operative has revealed the agency pursues people with certain mental disorder as it makes the best agents. John Kiraku, who has a 14-year career as a CIA officer, said the agency, quote, actively seeks to hire people who have sociopathic tendencies, unquote. But they avoid individuals with a full-blown disorder. They just want some of the characteristics, but they don't want somebody written totally out of control, right? Because they're control freaks themselves. They've got to control them. So a sociopath is someone who lacks empathy, disregards the feelings of others, and may manipulate or harm people without remorse, often for their own personal gain. Sociopaths are impossible to control, says Kiraku. They slip through the cracks because they have no conscience, and they pass the polygraph very easily because they don't feel guilty. Someone who has some of these qualities tend to rise to the highest levels of the CIA. Wow, who would have thought? People who have sociopathic tendencies do have a conscience, but they are still perfectly happy to work in moral, legal, and ethical gray areas, said Kiraku. Kiraku admitted that he falls into the category of having sociopathic tendencies, explaining how he was happy to break into people's houses and plant bugs. The former officer used the idea that he was part of the good guys and that his country needed him as a way to feed his sociopathic tendencies. I mean, this is the distorted mindset of these people. Totally distorted. And let me just show you what one of these creatures looks like, okay? This is what this whistleblower, John Kiraku, with his 14-year career as a CIA officer, they actively seek to hire people who have sociopathic tendencies, and he admits that he has these tendencies. And he just got joy breaking into people's houses and planting bugs. Here you go. Okay, so that's what one of those creatures looks like. Let's see what else they have to say. So the CIA has admitted, they admit that spies have pathological personality features that help them with their espionage efforts, such as a sense of entitlement or a desire for power and control. While employed at the CIA, Kiraku was involved in critical counter-terrorism missions. Following the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, he was involved in the capture of the T terrorist Abu Zubaydah. Excuse me. However, he refused to be trained in so-called enhanced interrogation techniques, quote-unquote. Kiraku has claimed that he never authorized or engaged in these techniques. However, after leaving the CIA, he appeared on ABC News where he said that the CIA waterboarded detainees and labeled the action as torture. And we discussed what torture is in a previous video and how to win a lawsuit against torture, the characteristics of what you need to prove as far as torture goes. Well, here they are. They're admitting. That they label the action of waterboarding as a form of torture. They're admitting it. So what else will they admit to? You know, with regard to targeted individuals. Oh, and yeah, that has to do with that critical counterterrorism missions after 9/11. You know, the counter T's. You know, like you and me. So the interview led to Kiriakou being arrested in 2012 and charged with one count of violating the Intelligence Identities Protection Act for allegedly illegally disclosing the identity of a covert officer. I didn't see the interview, so I'm not familiar with it. He was also charged with 2 counts of violating the Espionage Act for allegedly illegally disclosing national defense information to individuals not authorized to receive it, and 1 count of making false statements for allegedly lying to the Publications Review Board of the CIA in an unsuccessful attempt to trick the CIA into allowing him to include classified information in a book he was seeking to publish. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 30 months in prison. So here he is after he left the CIA. Let me show you how he's changed a little. This is ABC News. Okay. So now Jim Mad Dog Lawler, who spent 25 years at the CIA, said he would do virtually anything that's legal to get people in foreign countries to be spies for the U.S., but admitted to being extremely empathic. Oh, let me show you his face. Okay, so let's continue. Oh, and I saw an amazing interview today. The leader for Argentina spoke at the World Economic Forum along with Donald Trump. And the World Economic Forum must have been like hiding their faces somewhere in the background because they were talking negatively about them and all the wonderful things that they would be doing for the planet and the world and all this stuff. It was excellent interviews, or speeches, I should say. So a CIA psychiatrist told me one time that the CIA looks to hire people with sociopathic tendencies, not full-blown sociopaths, because sociopaths have no conscience, said Kiriakou, speaking with the Real News Network. Well, malignant narcissists don't either. When asked if he thinks that is what the CIA saw in him, he responded, "I think they probably did." Kiriakou provided a question that he was asked during the CIA interview, the hiring interview. They said, quote, "You know that Mr. X has something in his house that you need. Whether it's a file or whatever, you need it. And you work on him to recruit him so that eventually he turns that file over to you," unquote. But he's not recruitable, and in the end, when you ask him for the file, he tells you no. What do? This is the question they're asking him to be hired. He turns around and he says, flat out, he says, "I break into the house and take the file." Seems like a perfectly logical answer to me. The former CIA officer explained that because he believed he was part of the good guys, Mr. X was surely a bad guy, such as a Russian scientist, or that 66-year-old woman that lives alone on a farm in rural Jackson County, Kentucky. Yeah, it's okay to break into her house. Oh, I must be some Russian spy or something. I'm being sarcastic. Another former CIA agent, Jim Mad Dog Lawler, has echoed Kiriako's remarks about sociopathic tendencies in the agency. Lawler had a 25-year career with the agency as a nuclear weapons expert and spy. Wow, what a career that is, huh? Wow. He was a specialist in the recruitment of foreign spies, and he spent over half of his CIA career battling the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Okay. During his career, Lawler served as chief of the A.Q. Khan nuclear takedown team, which resulted in the disruption of a nuclear weapons network led by Abdul Qadir Khan. The network was active in the 1980s and 1990s. It involved countries including Iran, Libya, and North Korea. I don't know any of this stuff. Lawler recently said the CIA wants people who are dangerously on the line of, or straddling the line of being a sociopath. A good friend of mine, he was an operational psychologist at the CIA, and he would review the criteria for hiring more folks like me, and he wondered, how much sociopathy are we dialing into? And he was speaking on the Julian Dory podcast. What I did is rather sociopathic. I'm manipulating people. I'm exploiting people. I found out doing it against foreigners was a hell of a lot of fun. This is the interview here, guys. Fun. I think this interview is horrified. Oh, so much fun. Exploiting people, manipulating people, and doing it to foreigners. Wow, that was a hell of a lot of fun. It's that sociopathic part where we enjoy breaking people's laws because that's what we do. We break foreign countries' laws. Oh, wait a minute. It's not just foreign countries, young man. We're convincing people to become traitors. Okay. He also explained that he would do virtually anything that's legal to get people in foreign countries to be spies for the U.S. Lawler admitted that he had only used his quote-unquote special skills 3 times, including to avoid a traffic ticket and get an upgrade to first class on an airplane. Wow. I really want to use my special skills to avoid a traffic ticket and get an first class seat on an airplane. The former CIA officer shared that he's also extremely empathic, which is the complete opposite of a full-blown sociopath. Well, no, what it is these psychopaths, sociopaths, they read people. They don't feel what other people are feeling. They read them so that they can manipulate them. So they do. They read them to manipulate them. Okay? That is actually the end of the article. It's the end of the article. But along the lines there was another article where the CIA declassifies. Let me see if I'm having a lot of... let me see. It declassifies some information in a book. It's called Secret CIA Book, Adam and Eve's Story, The End of the World Theory, HTML. And of course, I clicked on it, and I have a little spinning wheel here. So anyway, I look so forward to your comments down below. I mean, this should not surprise anyone who's a targeted person, given the fact that your neighbors violate your rights every day. They commit felony stalking, misdemeanors, trespass, litter, whatever is against the law. They do, and they get off on it. And as I've mentioned before in the past, that I think that even if they weren't paid, that some of them would just do it because it's just so much fun. Yeah. So anyway, the article that I wanted to read in addition to this, the secret CIA book, Adam and Eve story, is just still spinning. So perhaps I'll do another video on that if I can pull it up. Anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel go get the message out there. And oh, before I go, yesterday these criminals, they really get off on slicing my skin. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Well, I'm not going to take off the bandages, okay? So what they did is they sliced my middle finger in 2 places. I'm going to show you. And then they sliced my wrist. My right wrist. I'm right-handed, just for the record. Okay, so here. They sliced one quick slice, like a surgical slice right here. They put an X at the tip of my finger, a little X, and then, let me skip here. They cut me right here too. See the 3 little dots? 3 little dots, 1 little slice, 1 hand. You could see that there's a red spot there. Maybe with an energy weapon. Maybe I was sleeping or in my house after they knocked me out or something. And then my middle finger. Slice here. And a little X here. They actually did my thumb too. Like, it feels really weird over there. But anyway, that's what they do here. There. Oh, here it is. Here's the other one. You see the slice? You see that? They're angry. Well, very angry people, right? They're very angry. So anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. And I look forward to your comments down below.